Now that we've built the webhook, we'll update our CRM app to accept the webhook and post messages into WebEx Teams, effectively creating an interactive chatbot. At this point, we created a bot with a working API key and a webhook pointing to the CRM app. Let's explore the CRM app's start.py file. We are using a stripped-down version of the CRM app to keep the focus on ChatOps. There is no MySQL, SSL, or CSRF protection here. It's just the basic CRM app we used in the previous courses. I'll focus on the webhook specifics rather than re-explain the whole app. We used Flask to create a simple web server and a static JSON file to provide basic account data. We're adding another specific resource named /WT webhook, which is where the WebEx Teams has been configured to send its webhooks. WebEx Teams always sends a post request, so I matched the post method just to be explicit. First, we load in the bot's API token. You might be thinking, why do we need this? Remember that we are trying to create an interactive bot, which means our CRM app needs to post messages in the chat room as global bot. Therefore, the CRM app needs to load in the bot's API key. I'm not including any error checking here for brevity, as we saw how to handle it in the previous clip. Next, let's take a look at the webhook that was received, which is accessible using the request object. I've stored an example in the webhook body JSON reference file. This is the body of the post request that WebEx Teams will send to the CRM app whenever someone mentions the global bot. Let's scroll down to the bottom. The webhook contains some metadata about the message, but not the text itself for security reasons. We'll grab the text later, but for now, we can see the message came from my email. The mentioned people list contains the bot's person ID. Although you can't really see it, the room ID is a GlobalMantics specific chat room I built with my personal WebEx Teams account. Let's get back to the script and figure out how we can use this information to get the actual text message. Like our add webhook script, we define the base URL and get headers using the bot's token for authorization. Then, we issue a GET request to the message's URL targeting a specific message. That message is the one referenced in the webhook by ID. Here's a screenshot of the API reference showing how this request works. This is saying, you sent me a webhook notifying me of a new message, and now I want the text. It's kind of like having a pager from the 1990s where you don't know what the caller wants until you call them back. If the request fails, just exit the function. No need to terminate the CRM app. Once again, we can explore the response from this GET request using the Get Message Details JSON reference file. This message contains a lot of the same data from the webhook, but most importantly, it contains the message text. This particular user was asking for the account balance of account 100. Now that the CRM app knows this, performing the account lookup is simple. Let's extract the text from the HTTP body, then split the text into a list of strings based on the space character. This is a relatively weak parsing approach, but introducing complex regular expressions to make it more generic would be pretty far off topic. Once we have a list of words in the message, grab the last word using the index -1 slicing technique. Therefore, when we interact with the ChatOps bot, we must end our text message with the account ID to query. As an optional homework assignment, feel free to beef up this parser using regular expressions. Now that we have the account ID, let's use our database balance method to look up the account balance. This code is similar to our regular web UI method as we log the balance for troubleshooting purposes and also create a response message. We use the standard post request to answer the balance query. That means we need to specify the room ID, which we can extract from the original webhook body. Here's a screenshot of the API call that includes the room ID. Then, we form the HTTP body consisting of that room ID and the text message. Again, here is a screenshot of the API reference that explains the text parameter, which is simply the message to post. We define our HTTP post headers, adding in the content type to be explicit, then issue the post request to the messages URL. Then the function exits. The text being returned doesn't matter as WebEx Teams doesn't process it. With our webhook created and our CRM app ready to receive HTTP post requests from WebEx Teams, let's fire up the CRM app. At this point, we'll log into WebEx Teams and finish our ChatOps implementation. I'm currently in the GlobalMantics chat room by myself. We need to add the global bot into this room before we can interact with it. First, click the ... icon in the top right. This brings up a sidebar with additional options. Select People. Next, select Add People. In the text box, type the bot's username, which is globalbot@webex.bot, and hit Enter. Okay, the bot is staged for adding, so click Add at the bottom. Now the bot has been successfully added, so let's go back to the chat. Let's talk to the global bot by asking for the account 100 balance. Remember, so long as the last word in our sentence is account 100, it should work. We can use the @ symbol to mention specific users. Okay, this looks great. We asked the bot for the account 100 balance and were promptly provided with the correct answer. Let's test another valid account. All the silly text is ignored and the bot only processes the last string of account 200. Let's try a few negative tests to ensure we receive none in reply. In this case, the bot tries to process the account ID of please and it fails. Again, feel free to implement a more robust parser if you like. Clearly our ChatOps is working, so let's check the application logs. Just like when we interacted with the CRM app using the web UI, we see similar logging that indicates all the post requests sent to the webhook URL. Each time, WebEx Teams was notifying us that someone was talking to the bot, so our CRM app provided an interactive response. This is a powerful technique that can improve user experience for our sales team, giving them fast and convenient access to customer account data. To show you how easy it is to clean up, let's delete this webhook. First, we have to stop the app with Ctrl+C. Next, let's change into the webhook directory and list the files. I'll quickly walk you through the delete webhook bash script next. This script takes a single command line argument, which is the webhook ID. We can collect that using our getter, then manually pass it into this script to delete the webhook. This is very handy when testing temporary webhooks. For reference, here's a screenshot of how to send an HTTP delete request to properly remove a webhook. The WebEx Teams API is quite intuitive and easy to understand. Let's run the getter script to find the webhook ID. Now, I'll copy this ID into my clipboard, then run the delete webhook script while supplying this as an argument. The script reflects the ID being deleted, so let's run the getter again. We should get an empty list in response. Okay, this is correct, and the webhook has been deleted. I encourage you to explore building your own chatbots as well, because honestly, it's a lot of fun.